Show you how we hooked up our RM Italy KL703 amplifier. It's a 500 watt amplifier, and it's too much of power for the alternator to run. So we're going to show you how we hooked up this amplifier without having to put another alternator on this vehicle. It's a 6-cylinder anyway, my old Jeep here, my old talking car, and we're going to show you how we did it. So as you can see, we have an 8-gauge wire hooked to the battery, okay, and it goes down through the firewall down there, and it's got a grommet in there so it won't touch the hot wire won't touch the body. Okay, this 8-gauge wire is on a 30 amp fuse right here. This is a 30 amp fuse, so that if the wire did happen to touch the firewall or something, the fuse would blow. Also, it's a 30 amp fuse in case the amplifier does draw some juice off of the car battery. Okay, this is a 1000 amp cranking amp battery, as you can see, so it does have quite a bit of juice in it, but it's still not enough to run a 500 watt linear. As I'm sure you understand, 500 watt linears do take quite a bit of juice. So anyway, we got 8-gauge wire going through the cabin on a 30 amp fuse on the hot line. If you notice, the fuse is very close to the battery and it's mounted to plastic. Okay, that way you don't have any issues there. Okay, so let's go inside. You go inside and it looks like a mess, but it's not. Here's the 8-gauge wire coming from under the hood. Okay, and it's going to a deep cycle battery that's 800 cranking amps. It's a big old battery, it's real heavy. Okay, so it has dual post terminals on it. Okay, and it's got the regular top post, and it's also got another binding post. Okay, the binding post goes to the 30 amp fuse under the hood, and it's on quick disconnects, as you can see. That way I don't have to charge the deep cycle battery all the time when I'm driving. Deep cycle batteries are meant to be charged and used and then charged again. Okay, they're not meant to be charged constantly like a regular car battery. Okay, so it's quick disconnect there. That's a 50 amp quick disconnect from the hood to the battery, from under the hood to the battery. And then on the main connectors, the regular top post terminal, I also have the connector that goes to the wire for the amplifier that has also a 50 amp quick disconnect, and that comes right around here and goes into the back of the RM Italy KL703. In line with this, as you can see, the hot comes off the battery. Now you have your 50 amp fuse, which is what the amplifier needs. So it's drawing most of the power off of this battery, which again is a deep cycle, and it's a marine battery, if you can see that. It's a Walmart battery. It's a 800 cranking amp deep cycle battery, and it's got, I think, 105 minutes reserve time. So it's got quite a bit of juice in that battery, but by it being connected to the main terminals, it draws most of the power from this battery. Okay, and the battery is constantly being charged while the motor's running from the battery under the hood, so it doesn't go low. And then you have your 50 amp fuse in there in line. Now for the KL703 amplifier, okay, it's a pretty big amp. You see it covers the whole seat. It covers the whole front seat there. Okay, the KL703, I gotta tighten that up. It has an extra ground. I put a ground on the chassis of the amplifier, as you can see, and it's got 2 wires. Okay, and this is on a quick disconnect as well. See this gray quick disconnect? It's a different color, so there's no way you can mix this ground up with any of the hot connectors, because they are the same connector, but clearly if you connect it to the ground, you're going to blow something up. So the quick disconnector for the chassis ground is a completely different color. That way you don't screw it up. So in essence, the amplifier, which draws up to 50 amps, is hooked directly to the battery by the main terminals. The binding post terminals are connected with the 8-gauge wire, and this is 6-gauge wire, pure copper wire, by the way. And the amplifier is hooked directly up to the main out for the battery. So this way the battery is constantly being charged. The 30 amp fuse under the hood allows it to draw a certain amount of juice from there if the amplifier chooses to do that. And the 30 amp fuse will definitely blow if that 8-gauge wire makes contact with the firewall. Again, we do have a grommet up under here, so it's not going to make a contact. It's a very clean deal there, but you know, you have to be better safe than sorry. So that's how you can hook up an RM Italy KL703 or any 500 watt amplifier for that matter. And I wouldn't go much above 500, else you just got to get a bunch of batteries. But the way I have this hooked up with the extra battery, the deep cycle battery, your alternator can handle this no problem. Okay, if you have regular car batteries, they don't hold as much juice as a deep cycle, and it's going to draw that battery down, and then the alternator is going to kick. It's going to kick, and then it's going to say, oh, we can't keep doing this, and blah, blah, blah. So you have to get a deep cycle battery, and I don't know if you can see it. That's an Everstart Marine battery. It's a brand new battery. And the deep cycle battery holds enough juice to keep from killing your alternator. Okay, so that's how you can hook up an RM Italy KL703. You see the wires are tucked behind the carpet there. They go through the grommet, through the firewall. Quick disconnects on everything. And those quick disconnects are 50 amp disconnects. So everything's pretty tight. The 8-gauge wire coming from the hood, it's pretty flimsy as far as the rubber. The insulation on the outside is rubber. The 6-gauge, the insulation is heavy. It's plastic. You see, it's not very flexible. So there you have it, folks. That's how you can run a 500 watt amplifier, in my case a KL703 from RM Italy, on your vehicle without having to put extra alternators on there, and you can run it without killing the alternator that you have on your vehicle already. It has to be a deep cycle battery to keep from killing your alternator, and you have to put it on quick disconnects so that you're not constantly charging it, because that will kill it. So anyway, folks, it looks a mess, but it works real well. I just need to clean the Jeep out there. So we appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching Torpedo Heat TV, and as usual, have a good day.